Incredible moment. Millionaire discovers Maid's daughter dancing with his paralyzed daughter. Watch the inspiring transformation. Henry Thompson, a titan of industry, stood with his chest puffed out on the balcony of his sprawling New Jersey mansion. He had everything: wealth, status, and the American dream glittering in the sunlight. But on that fateful evening, as he looked down at the perfectly manicured lawn, despair clawed at his heart. Just months earlier, his vibrant daughter Emma was the light of his life, her laughter echoing through the halls filled with joy. Then came the accident. Now, silence reigned in their home, broken only by the unsettling thoughts that consumed Henry. A tragic car crash had left Emma paralyzed, her dreams of dancing shattered like glass. Desperation drove Henry to hire a housekeeper, Maria, a hard-working woman with warmth that felt foreign in his cold world. Each morning, she arrived with her spirited daughter, Lucia, who dazzled like a candle flickering in the midst of a storm. Unlike Emma, Lucia faced her own battles but danced through life with a fierce joy, her spirit untouched by hardship. As she twirled and leaped, Emma's eyes sparkled with longing, a yearning to reclaim her lost dreams. The pair formed an unlikely friendship, bridging the gap between despair and hope. It was a connection so profound that Henry often caught himself holding his breath, powerless against the tides of emotion that washed over him. Lucia and Emma spent hours together, sharing stories and laughter that once filled their home. Those stolen moments began to heal the cracks formed by grief. Henry observed them from the sidelines, a storm of conflicting emotions brewing within him. It was an enchanting sight, his daughter, once engulfed in sadness, finding happiness again in Lucia's presence. But like the dark cloud that seeks to overshadow the sun, old biases crept back into his mind. A persistent voice whispered that a Maid's daughter shouldn't be allowed to fly so close to his world that the neighborhood buzzed with excitement about the upcoming talent show. Lucia seized the moment and invited Emma to participate with her in a duet. The proposition sent shockwaves through Henry, a challenge he was not ready to face. Questions bubbled in his mind. Could he support his daughter's friendship with someone from a different world? Would the judgment from his peers spiral into something far worse? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The night of the talent show arrived, and the auditorium buzzed with anticipation, filled with chatter of the affluent community. Henry's outstretched hands gripped the armrests of his chair. The spotlight flickered to life, illuminating his daughter and Lucia, their contrasting lives merging into a single moment that felt almost surreal. As they danced together, it became clear that their performance was not simply for the audience, but a narrative of unity echoing throughout the room. The crowd erupted in applause, yet Henry remained still, heart racing. This was a test of courage, a chance to shift his perspective. As he caught Emma's eye, hope merged with uncertainty. The applause swelled, drowning out his doubts, but the greatest challenge lay ahead, embracing the truth that love and character hold more weight than social status. Would he let go of the past, opening up to a beautiful, intertwined future, or would he be shackled by his biases, risking the happiness of his daughter? As the final notes lingered in the air, tension crackled, a choice loomed, and his heart teetered. On the brink of change, the applause echoed off the walls, a harmonious mix of joy and tension. Henry's heart thudded in his chest as his daughter and Lucia took their bows. He watched Emma beam with an expression he hadn't seen in so long, a spark of life flickering back to the surface. It was intoxicating and terrifying all at once. Here was the essence of his daughter reborn, yet in the same breath, Henry felt the weight of his insecurities crushing down on him. As the audience began to shuffle, making their way to the exit, he caught snippets of conversation around him. Did you see that? The maid's girl. The sharpness of the whispers sliced through him, each word laced with judgment. For every clapping hand, there was a disapproving glance that stung a little deeper. A million thoughts raced through his mind. He was drowning in the sea of his own making. Henry's feet felt heavy as he approached Emma, who was still glowing in the afterglow of the performance. Lucia stood beside her, laughing, the sound pure and effervescent. At that moment, Henry made a choice not just for himself, but for Emma. Instead of the churning resentment and fear, he summoned a deep breath and focused on what truly mattered, his daughter's happiness. "Emma," he said, his voice tentative. "That was beautiful." The way she looked at him, eyes wide and shining, filled him with an uncharacteristic warmth. The corners of her mouth lifted into a soft smile. It was a smile that said she knew he was trying. "Thank you, Dad," she exclaimed, throwing her arms around him. The embrace felt foreign yet right, a reminder of a bond forged in moments of shared joy. "You both were amazing," he said to Lucia, who stood a little shyly beside Emma. "You brought life back into this home." The sincerity in his tone was palpable, and he could see her confidence bloom. Her cheeks flushed with a mix of pride and disbelief, and he felt the boundaries of their worlds twitch and widen just a fraction. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson." Lucia beamed. "We really wanted to make Emma happy." It was the truth spoken with such innocence that it cut deeper than any judgment thrown his way. He found himself smiling, a response so genuine that it surprised even him. As they left the auditorium, the tension shifted. Henry found himself standing alongside the two girls, walking out into the warm night. They giggled, their laughter weaving through the remnants of evening air. It felt right. This unlikely friendship, the weaving of two different lives, had opened him up in ways he hadn't anticipated. Yet, just as hope bloomed, shadows lurked. The more he embraced this shift, the more he felt the pressure of the expectations from his world. The whispers would grow louder, he knew. What would his peers say? The weight of their judgment loomed ominously in his mind. "What do you want to do next, Emma?" he asked, wanting to steer the conversation back to her. "We could perform again." She laughed, her eyes twinkling. "Or maybe start a dance club. Lucia and I can teach others." Henry chuckled, but the fear settled back in his gut. That would be amazing. He forced the words out, realizing how life-altering choices often required a leap of faith. As they neared the car, Henry found himself wrestling with fresh uncertainty. Was he strong enough to embrace this new reality? Could he truly be the father Emma needed? One who wouldn't let fears cloud his love? "Dad, are you okay?" Emma's sweet voice broke through his thoughts. The question hung in the air, a challenge he wasn't prepared for. Henry paused, glancing between Emma and Lucia. In this moment, he understood his journey was about more than just letting go of bias. It was about opening his heart in ways he never thought possible. But could he navigate the path ahead, where past assumptions and future hopes collided? As the engine rumbled to life, uncertainty loomed, waiting for the next decision to solidify. The darkness that lingered wasn't just an outside whispers. It was a mirror reflecting his own fears. Would he take the leap with them, or would he remain an anchor, holding back the light? What new challenges awaited them just beyond that horizon? Henry slid into the driver's seat, the scent of old leather mixing with the comforting notes of a warm evening. The girls clambered in beside him, their chatter ringing like silver bells. Emma's excitement was almost palpable as she recounted highlights from the show, while Lucia nodded along, her enthusiasm matching Emma's. "Did you see how everyone clapped for us?" Emma squealed, bouncing in her seat. "I could feel my heart racing. I loved it." "Me too," Lucia agreed, her smile bright. "You were incredible, Emma." Everyone was so proud. But as he listened to their sweet voices, Henry felt a tightening in his chest. For every spark of joy in Emma's eyes, there was a lingering shadow of what it meant to step outside of their carefully constructed world. The question loomed large in his mind. How would he protect her from the judgments that skittered just beyond their small circle? "Did you two really mean it about the dance club?" he ventured, daring himself to lean into this new idea. "Of course, Dad. We could call it the Thompson Dance Academy." Emma enthused, her imagination running wild. "I'll teach everyone the moves, and Lucia can come up with the fun dances." He smiled at her enthusiasm, but fear swirled within him. A dance club? It sounded wonderful, but he could already hear the whispers from the elite circles, the very people he'd spent a lifetime trying to impress. He couldn't bear the thought of being the butt of their jokes. And what if those kids are mean? He asked, surprising both himself and the girls. "What if they tease you?" Emma paused, her expression shifting to one of determination. "Dad, I don't care. I want to dance. I want to be happy." Lucia reached over, squeezing Emma's hand. "You should do it, Emma. Don't let anyone stop you." Henry felt a swell of pride. Here were two girls, unafraid to dream big. But his own doubts tangled with their hopes. "And what if I can't be that dad who helps you through it? What if I fail you both?" His voice was barely above a whisper. "Dad," Emma said, her voice steady, "you already help me every day, just by being you." Her words resonated deeply, whispering hope into the cracks of his insecurities. Yet, the uncertainty loomed heavy. He needed to evolve just as much as they did. They pulled into their driveway, the soft glow from the house spilling onto the concrete. As the door swung open, Henry glanced back at the excited girls, who were already plotting their next dance steps. "Okay, let us work on this dance club idea," he said, feeling a flicker of bravery ignite within him. "But we'll take it slow." As they calmed down and dispersed into the house, he felt a tiny weight lift. Maybe, just maybe, he could navigate this new reality with them, reaching for the light together. But then, as he stepped inside, the phone rang. It was a number he didn't recognize, a sharp reminder that life was about to throw yet another curveball his way. "Henry," the voice on the other end said, urgency thick in the air. "We need to talk." His heart raced. What could this possibly mean? With the visions of hopeful dance moves still swirling in his mind, he suddenly felt the ground shift beneath him. What unexpected news was waiting on the other side of that call? Henry's heart pounded, the urgency in the voice on the line sending chills down his spine. He gripped the phone tighter, trying to keep his breathing steady. "Who is this?" he asked, trying to remain calm. "It's Carla. From the Foundation. We've run into a situation that requires your immediate attention." His mind raced. The Foundation was integral to his charity work, especially around funding for children with disabilities. "What has happened?" he demanded softly, instinctively nervous. "There was an error in the budget allocation for next semester, and we're short on funding. We may have to make cuts. I know how important this program is to you. We need to talk." Henry leaned against the kitchen counter, feeling the weight of the world pressed down. Emma's recent triumph in the dance show made it even clearer how valuable these programs were for kids like her. "Cuts? What do you mean?" His voice barely held the edge of control. "You can't cut the dance program." "It's Henry, listen. We can find a solution. But we need to act fast. Can you come to the office tomorrow morning?" "Yeah, okay. I'll be there." He hung up, the realization settling in like stones in his gut. The dreams of the dance club, the joy Emma felt on stage, it was all threatened. "Dad." Emma's voice broke into his thoughts. She had appeared in the doorway, a curious look on her face. "Is everything okay?" He forced a smile, but there was a tremor in his hands. "Just a work thing, honey. Nothing to worry about." Emma nodded, but he could see the concern etched on her young features. "Do you want to talk about it?" "No, sweetheart. It's fine," he lied, wanting to shield her from the encroaching storm. "What about that dance club idea? We can brainstorm some more. Maybe we can plan a little event?" Her face lit up again, and for a moment, he felt the heaviness lift. "Can we have a bake sale too? We'll need snacks," Emma exclaimed, her energy contagious. Lucia bounced back into the room, her imagination already swirling with ideas. "Yes, and we can have a theme, like under the stars, and everyone has to wear glowy things." Lucia chimed in, clearly caught up in the excitement. Henry watched them, hope intertwining with the dread of what lay ahead. Their laughter filled the room, pushing against the shadows creeping in from the call. "Okay, let us brainstorm some dances first," he said, leading them to the living room. As much as he wanted to hide from the reality of his obligations, watching Emma dance with joy brought a warmth that soothed his soul. Hours slipped by as he watched the girls create dance moves fueled by laughter and enthusiasm. But even as the music played, the lingering thoughts about the conversation with Carla nagged at him, swirling like unwanted smoke in his mind. At last, he paused the music, breathing deep. "I might need your help with something important very soon, okay? I want you both to promise me that no matter what, you'll keep dancing, no matter the troubles." Emma tilted her head, confused but determined. "Of course, Dad. Always," Lucia added, her hand clasped around Emma's. He smiled, the warmth of their support drowning out the reservations creeping back into the edges of his mind. But as they resumed dancing, he couldn't help but feel that a storm was brewing, a storm he couldn't shield them from forever. What choices would he have to make, and at what cost? As he spun them around, lost in their joy, he wondered, would he be able to protect these precious moments of happiness amid the impending challenges? Would the dance club ever unfold, or was it destined to be another dream discarded? Tomorrow would bring clarity, but for now, the uncertainty loomed as intensely as the rhythmic beat of the music around them. The morning sun peeked through the curtains, casting a soft glow that painted the living room in warmth. Henry sat at the kitchen table, empty coffee cup in hand, staring blankly at his laptop. He could already hear Emma and Lucia bustling around, their voices filled with excitement, planning out their big event. But all he could think about was the meeting with Carla later that day. Cuts. That word echoed in his mind with each tick of the clock. "Dad, are you coming?" Emma called from the hallway, the thrill in her voice breaking through his thoughts. "On my way," he replied, forcing a smile. He pushed the laptop aside and stood, shaking off the heavy feeling that had settled in his chest. As he walked into the living room, he saw them sprawled on the floor with colorful markers and sheets of paper. They had created a vibrant poster board, with doodles of dancers twinkling under stars and all sorts of snacks drawn around it. Just seeing that brought a flicker of hope to his heart, but it quickly put him back in battling mode against the turmoil looming over their lives. "Look, Dad," Emma exclaimed, bouncing up. "We made a poster for our bake sale. Can we add sparkles?" "Absolutely. Sparkles are perfect," he said, embracing her enthusiasm, even as the tension in his stomach twisted tighter. A knock on the door broke the chatter. "I wonder who that could be." Lucia leaped up and ran to the door, swinging it open with glee. But Henry's breath hitched. Standing there was Carla, her face a mask of resolve, but her eyes holding a flash of concern. "I hope I'm not interrupting," she said, stepping inside. Emma and Lucia exchanged curious looks before bolting back to their poster. The girls had no idea what was really at stake, and Henry's thoughts spun frantically. Seeing Carla, there was a line drawn between their innocent joy and the impending uncertainty. "Carla," he said, forcing his voice to stay steady. "I wasn't expecting you here. I know this is unconventional, but I thought it would be better to talk in person before the meeting," she explained, glancing at the animated girls. "Can we chat?" "Sure. He hesitated, eyeing the girls. "Let me just take them to the park for a bit." "Okay, then," Carla nodded. The ride to the park was filled with chatter about dances and desserts, Emma's laughter drowning out the tension in the air. As they arrived and stepped out, Henry's senses flooded with the sense of cut grass and summer blooms, a contrast to the tightening worry in his chest. As the girls dashed toward the swings, he turned to Carla, finding a quiet spot beneath a sprawling oak tree. "This situation, how bad is it?" he asked, keeping his voice low. She sighed deeply. "We're facing potential cuts to multiple programs, Henry. The dance club is in jeopardy, and without immediate funding, it could be canceled." His heart sank, the words sounding like a death knell to the dreams he cherished for Emma. "Can't we find a way to make it work? I can organize something, another fundraiser, or—" "Even that might not be enough," Carla interrupted, her eyes glistening with the burden of responsibility. "We need a significant amount of cash by the end of the month. You know how tight budgets can be. These decisions aren't easy." Henry's mind raced, weighed down as desperately conflicting emotions consumed him. The dance club meant everything to the girls. It was hope, the rhythm of their lives. But the foundation wasn't only about dancing. It was about every single child depending on them. He stared across the park, watching Emma soar high on the swings, long strands of hair dancing behind her. An idea flooded in, illuminating his worries momentarily. What if we turn this bake sale into something bigger? A community dance event? We can feature performances, sell goods, make it a celebration. Would that really be enough? Carla's tone shifted, curiosity sparking amidst the tense moment. "Let us not just think about funding," he admitted, a new urgency flooding his veins. "Let us think about awareness, about bringing the whole community together." Emma and Lucia raced over, breathless and wide-eyed from their playful adventure. "Are we having a party?" Emma beamed, and in that moment, Henry glimpsed a sliver of possibility, a flicker of change. "Something like that," he replied, stealing a glance at Carla, whose gaze had turned hopeful as well. But then, the thought faded. Solutions often came with their own dangers. Would the community rally? Would it be enough to save what meant the world to them? As they drove back home, Henry's mind churned with possibilities. It felt like they were on the brink of something great, but at what cost? Would he be able to harness the strength of their shared dreams to hold back the forces that threatened to tear everything apart? The road ahead stretched long before him, uncertainties gleaming like the sun shining bright above. The afternoon sunlight draped the park in a golden hue, but inside Henry, a storm brewed. The idea of a community dance event felt like uncharted territory, full of promise, but also fraught with uncertainty. Could they really pull it off? Would they have the support they needed? Emma's laughter floated in the air, a sound he almost found comforting against the swirl of worries brewing in his mind. "Dad, can we do the limbo at the party?" she shouted, always seeking the vibrant, the fun. "Absolutely. The limbo will be a hit," he replied, forcing himself to beam back at her. But the shadow of doubt lingered, cold and heavy. As they arrived home, the girls instantly ran to the kitchen, eager to start baking. Flour flew as they measured ingredients, their giggles echoing in every corner. But inside, Henry felt like a spectator, standing on the edge of something monumental yet precarious. "Hey, you okay?" Carla asked after a moment, her voice gentle, the concern filtering through. "Just thinking," he leaned against the counter, watching the girls. "About how we're going to make this happen. It has to be more than just a bake sale." "Then let us dream big," she encouraged, her eyes lighting up. "We can set up booths for local businesses, maybe hold a small raffle, even showcase talent from the dance club." Her enthusiasm started to resonate with him. "Right, local businesses. Let us make this an event that everyone wants to be a part of." Words tumbled out, ignited by his desire to protect the dreams of his girls. The thought alone placed a spark of energy within him. They strategized while the girls whipped up batters and baked goods, flour dusting the air like confetti. Ideas flowed: a talent showcase, local food vendors, even a theme of "In Unity We Dance." "But what if we don't raise enough?" he said, the weight of worry knitting his brow. "It's a risk. Every big move comes with risks, Henry. We've just got to plan smart." She met his gaze, her resolve firm. "Just like the dance club has been for the girls, it's all about connection, community. They thrive together." He looked at Emma, her face smeared with icing and chocolate, dancing randomly to a song only she could hear. She was pure joy, a vibrant pulse of inspiration. A memory surged: late nights huddled with the girls as they rehearsed their routines, laughter ricocheting off the walls. "What if we also reach out to parents?" he mused. "We could get them involved in planning, make it a team effort. Let everyone feel like they have a stake in it." "Yes, exactly," Carla replied, her eyes gleaming. "Engage them, and when they see it's for their kids, they won't hold back." Just then, Henry realized this was more than about the dance club. It was a chance to unite the community, to show them what they could achieve together. As the girls finished their baking expedition, he gathered them for a family huddle. "All right, girls, big news." Emma's eyes sparkled with anticipation. "Are we having a party?" "In fact," he said, trying to match her excitement, "we're gearing up for something way more than just a party. We're throwing a community dance event." "We'll bake," Lucia squealed, jumping up and down. "We're going to invite everyone from the neighborhood," he continued. "Music, dancing, food, and of course, lots of fun." The girls hollered in delight, flailing their arms with joy. In that moment, hope bloomed in him, taking root amidst despair. Maybe they could pull this off. But just as they started to brainstorm ideas, the doorbell rang again. The unexpected sound ceased their shouting. With a twinge of trepidation, he moved toward the door, feelings swirling again. What if it was someone with more bad news? The thought twisted his stomach. Henry opened the door slowly, revealing Mr. Anderson from down the street, a serious expression etched across his face. "Henry, we need to talk." The weight of his words hung in the air between them, ominous and heavy. Nerves prickled at Henry's spine. What now? Would it further complicate their plans? The day's crescendo was sputtering, leaving room for questions he couldn't yet contemplate. "Come in," he managed, anxiety spiking again. But what was it that Mr. Anderson wanted? Mr. Anderson stepped inside, his eyes scanning the room before settling on Henry. The light-hearted atmosphere faded, replaced by a palpable tension. Emma and Lucia nestled behind Henry, sensing the shift in mood. "Is everything okay?" Henry asked, trying to sound casual, though the unease thrummed within him. Not really, Mr. Anderson replied, his voice low. It's about the dance event. That dropped like a stone in the pit of Henry's stomach. What about it? I've been hearing whispers. Some folks aren't thrilled about it. They worry it'll be too big, too messy, you know? A lot of change is hard for people, especially when they don't see the value. Henry clenched his jaw, each word cutting deeper. But it's just a dance event. It could unite everyone. I know that, but I think we need to tread carefully. Some might see it as a disruption rather than a celebration. The flicker of doubt returned, wrapping around Henry's resolve. But he couldn't fail the girls. Not now. Mr. Anderson, he began, his voice steady despite the quaking inside. We're hoping to bring the community together. Everyone needs something to look forward to, something positive. Can't we change the narrative? Mr. Anderson seemed to weigh this for a moment. You've got a good heart, Henry. The town needs more of that. But some older folks might want to keep things as they are. You'll need their support. Emma peeked out from behind Henry, her innocent face puzzled. But can't we just show them how fun it will be? A hint of a smile tugged at Mr. Anderson's mouth. That's the spirit. Maybe a few sneak peeks? Get people excited. But you may need to approach some key people around here. Henry felt the flame of determination building again. You're right. I'll talk to them. We'll make sure they understand why it matters. With a nod, Mr. Anderson turned to leave but paused, glancing back at the children. And, Henry, don't underestimate the power of what your daughters bring. They can inspire. As the door clicked shut, Carla approached him, an eyebrow raised. What did he mean by that? He thinks some folks won't get it. We have to change their minds. Lucia, her hand still dusted with flour, piped up. Can we make posters? With sparkles. Everyone loves sparkles. Yes. Henry agreed, feeling the mood lift again. And let us have a small rehearsal. Show people that the dance club is alive and bursting with spirit. The automation of ideas swarmed them, the laughter returning to the room. For every doubt that lingered, there were 3 ideas formed, radiant like the afternoon sun. But even amidst that excitement, Henry felt a kick of anxiety. What if they couldn't convince the skeptics? What if the storm brewed deeper, overshadowing their effort before it even began? With that thought lingering, he rallied the girls, and they spent the next hour creating colorful posters, sketching out the design loosely based on their excitement. Then it hit him. We need a rallying cry. Something catchy for everyone to remember. Emma, bouncing on her toes, offered, dancing with the stars of our community. Perfect. It has to be inviting. Just then, a soft knock on the window caught their attention. A group of parents stood outside. Henry's heart raced. Could this be the support they needed? The uncertainty swept through him as he looked to Carla, but her nod filled him with urgency. He dashed to the door, excitement and nerves tangling in his chest. As he stepped outside, the weight of the moment settled upon him again. Could they be willing to join him in this dream? He took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever awaited. But deep down, that doubt loomed like clouds over the sun. What if today's engagement lead to more hurdles ahead? Hey, everyone, he called, his voice steady. But inside, the questions lingered. Would this moment fuel their resolve or deepen the divides? Henry stepped outside, his heart pounding as he faced the group of parents. They stood there, shifting their weight, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The sunlight cast long shadows on the ground, but Henry felt a spark of hope ignite within him. Thanks for coming, everyone, he called out, trying to infuse warmth into his voice. We're working on something exciting for the community, a dance event that I believe can really bring us all together. A murmur rippled through the crowd, and a few nods encouraged him to continue. We want to showcase the talents of our kids and create a fun space for everyone to enjoy. It's going to be a celebration of our community spirit. Mrs. Finch, a stern-faced woman with arms crossed, stepped forward. A dance event, you say? But what makes you think anyone will show up? We've had enough noise and chaos lately. Henry felt a moment of panic. I understand your concerns, he replied, measuring his words carefully, but this isn't just noise. This is an opportunity to unite us, to share joy, laughter, and aren't you just trying to distract us from the real issues? Interrupted Mr. Dawson, a local farmer known for his blunt nature. The wind picked up slightly, sending a breeze through Henry's hair and cooling his flush. This is about more than just a dance. It's about building connections, he asserted, looking around the group, searching for a glimmer of support. Remember the last community gathering? The kids had a blast, and it brought smiles to so many faces. A few of the parents started to nod, but Henry sensed the skepticism was strong. He took a deep breath, deciding to pivot. What if we had a small preview? An open rehearsal for anyone interested to see what we're about. Let them feel the energy, feel that community spirit come alive. As he spoke, he glanced at Emma and Lucia, their faces lighting up with enthusiasm. We could even have a bake sale, with all proceeds supporting local charities. Everyone loves cookies and brownies. Mrs. Finch cocked her head, her brow furrowing. Baked goods, you say? That might change things a bit. You'll need to show us you can pull this off, convince the few who still think this will be a failure. Henry's pulse raced. Was he being tested? We'll have everything planned, from decorations to music. And if it flops, you won't ever hear about another event from me again. A couple of parents chuckled at this, breaking the ice a little. Henry felt the slightest glimmer of hope. Maybe he was reaching them. All right, Henry, Mr. Dawson said finally, voice steady. You make it sound worthwhile. If you get a few more folks to join the rehearsal, maybe I'll reconsider. That's all I need. Henry grinned, a new burst of energy fueling him. I'll work day and night to ensure it's something special. The parents began to chat amongst themselves, the tension lifting slightly. Henry watched as the girls hopped excitedly beside him. The excitement was infectious, a sign that perhaps, just maybe, he was close to winning them over. But as the last words of encouragement mixed with laughter echoed around him, doubt still nipped at the edges of his excitement. What if it wasn't enough? What if he couldn't get the support he needed? All right, let us regroup later, Henry said, trying to keep his voice upbeat. When would that next meeting happen? And would it be the moment his dreams for the dance event would either solidify or fall apart? As the parents drifted away, Henry exchanged glances with Emma and Lucia. Two smiles reflected back at him, but he felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders again. Do you think we can really do this? He whispered to the girls, the uncertainty gnawing at him. Before they could answer, a loud shout rang through the square. Look out! Henry spun around just in time to see a baseball come flying toward them, aimed straight for Lucia. Henry's heart dropped. Time slowed as he lunged forward, instinct compelling him to protect his friend. In that split second, the world narrowed to the trajectory of the baseball, the anxious faces around him melting into a blur. Lucia, he shouted, his voice raw with urgency. With a swift movement, he thrust his arm out, the ball hitting his forearm with a resounding crack. Pain shot through him, but he barely noticed. Instead, he turned to Lucia, her wide eyes locked onto his. Are you okay? He asked, breathless, his eyes darting to see if the parents had noticed the near miss. Lucia shook her head, speechlessness gripping her. Emma hugged her tightly, mirroring Henry's protective instinct. The buzz of the gathering quieted, whispers rising like a wave. Mrs. Finch gasped, her stern demeanor faltering, as heads turned towards the trio. Just then, a boy from across the square jogged over, his face pale. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to throw it that hard. He looked panicked, his curly hair bouncing as he rushed closer. I was just playing catch. Henry recognized him as one of the neighbor's children, someone who often joined the games at the park. Hey, it's okay. Henry tried to calm him. Accidents happen. Lucia's fine, right? He shot her a reassuring smile. Finally, the tension in Lucia's face released, and she nodded hesitantly, though still shaken. See, she's fine, Henry stressed, collecting himself. The murmurs began to fade, but the moment hung heavily in the air. Henry looked around at the crowd. Their expressions varied from concern to the edges of disbelief. He felt a swirl of anxiety and anger. He didn't want this moment to taint the excitement he had fought hard to kindle. Let us just breathe for a moment, okay? Henry suggested. Remember, we're trying to come together for something good. A few people exchanged glances, some nodding slowly. He sensed a shift in the atmosphere, a lingering understanding amongst them. Timing is everything, he muttered under his breath, acknowledging the irony. Maybe we should push for the rehearsal sooner? Emma chimed in, trying to redirect the energy. Not just to prepare for the dance, but for moments like this, a place where we can look out for each other. Yes, Lucia echoed, now gaining her confidence. Let us show what we can do as a group. Let us practice not just the dance, but being there for each other. Feeling a newfound vigor, Henry nodded vigorously. Exactly. We'll plan a day and invite everyone to join in. Kids can show off their skills, and we'll have baked goods and baseball practice. The boy who dethroned the ball piped up, visibly relieved at the change in conversation. A chuckle passed through the crowd, softening the realization of what had just almost happened. Parents were easing into smiles, and even Mrs. Finch uncrossed her arms, looking less like a hawk and more like a person. The shift in energy felt palpable, like summer rain washing away the tension. Let us meet at my house this weekend, Henry suggested, heart racing with renewed hope. We'll plan this rehearsal, and I promise it'll be a blast. As agreement buzzed around, Henry's nervousness began to fade. Joy bubbled inside him, as though each nod and smile strengthened that spark of hope he'd held onto so tightly just minutes before. But even as excitement surged, a new voice emerged from the crowd, a deeper one. A figure approached, tall and confident. Henry recognized him immediately. Mr. Jacobs, the notorious community skeptic. "What's this I hear about bringing the whole town together?" he called out, a smirk playing across his lips. Henry felt the flip of enthusiasm in his stomach. What would Mr. Jacobs say next? Would he crush their hopes or help them launch forward? "Let us see what you've got, Henry," came the challenge. Henry felt the weight of Mr. Jacobs' challenge settle heavily in the air, like a storm cloud threatening to burst. The crowd shifted nervously, curious to see how he would respond. But in this moment, he felt an unexpected surge of resolve. "This isn't just about me," he said, his voice steady and clear. "This is about us, the community, our kids, our families. We're turning a moment of fear into an opportunity for connection, for joy. This dance event is our chance to show we can come together to lift each other up." He glanced at Emma and Lucia, their faces glowing with belief. Encouragement blossomed in the eyes of several parents nearby. Mr. Jacobs' smirk faltered for a moment, replaced by curiosity. "All right, then," Jacobs replied, crossing his arms. "Let us see how you show that connection. If you want to unite the town, I suggest you really bring your A game. Make them feel what you're feeling. If it's genuine, they'll come." The crowd erupted into murmurs of excitement, and suddenly, Henry felt alive, charged with purpose. "Then that's what we'll do. We'll plan something bigger, not just for this neighborhood, but for everyone. Let's show them what we can achieve together." Cheers erupted from Emma and Lucia, others joined in. The laughter, the eagerness to contribute, swept through everyone, building a sense of anticipation that felt infectious. "Let us plan the rehearsal," Henry declared, his heart racing in sync with the renewed energy around him. "We'll make it a showcase, a preview. We'll invite everyone close enough to hear about it. And let us create a video," Emma shouted, jumping in. "We can capture the spirit of everything we want to share." Lucia clapped her hands excitedly. "And show everyone how fun it is to dance, including all our awesome baked goods." Henry couldn't help but smile at the bundle of energy by his side. "Yes, we'll do a promo video. Highlight our combined talents to showcase what this dance can mean for our community." As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting everything golden, Henry felt the energy crackle around him. Each passing moment was like a heartbeat aligning, uniting their hopes. "Let us gather ideas from everyone," he continued, voice rising to match the excitement. "We can ask for input, share our dreams, and plan this out together. We need to make every hand a part of the process, from the bakers to the dancers." Henry could see Mr. Jacobs reconsidering, his expression shifting from skepticism to intrigue. Then in an unexpected turn, Mrs. Finch stepped forward, arms still crossed, but her face a blend of contemplation. "All right, Henry, if you believe this event can truly bring us all together, then count me in. Just tell me what you need." Gasps erupted from the crowd, and cheers began to build. Hope blossomed anew as each parent started raising their hands, eager to help. "All right," Henry called, his heart racing. "Meeting tomorrow at my place. Bring ideas, energy, and let us plan for something unforgettable." With renewed enthusiasm, they all dispersed, chattering about contributions and ideas. Henry turned to Emma and Lucia. "You both are incredible. This is just the start." Emma beamed at him. "It's going to be the best event ever, Dad. I can't wait to dance." Lucia added, her eyes sparkling, standing there, watching their excitement. Henry felt their infectious joy wrapping around him. Later that week, every corner of their neighborhood buzzed with the word of the upcoming dance event. The energy rippled among neighbors, parents, and children, reaching far and wide. As the rehearsal day approached, anticipation hung heavy in the air, and Henry worked tirelessly beside Emma and Lucia, their hopeful laughter mixing with the sounds of hustle. On the day of the big rehearsal, the sun shined bright, illuminating the faces of so many gathered together. The makeshift stage transformed into a vibrant tapestry of emotions, children dancing, parents cheering, the laughter and camaraderie filling the space where once there had been a cloud of doubt. As the event unfolded, Henry watched with his heart soaring. Emma and Lucia led the dance, grace intertwining with giggles, their joy contagious. The audience erupted in applause, and in that moment, amidst all the laughter and cheering, Henry realized he had found what he had been searching for. It wasn't just about saving a program. It was about connection, love, and community. It was a powerful reminder of how we could transcend our differences and come together through shared dreams. As the final dance moved into the setting sun, Henry looked down at Emma and Lucia, their smiles radiant, his heart filled with warmth. He embraced the moment, knowing they had all changed for the better. They had transformed from doubt to hope, from fear to joy. Now, as the applause echoed in his ear, he understood that he wouldn't just be a supportive father, but a partner in their blossoming journey. Together, they had turned a challenge into a celebration of love, hope, and belief, a dance that resonated far deeper than just music and movement. This was just the beginning. Remember, folks, you need to subscribe now to catch all the amazing moments that are coming your way. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep this movement alive. We want to hear from you. So comment with your thoughts on how this story inspired you, and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Your support means the world. Don't wait not even one more second to be part of this journey.